and we know this is what we're meant to do. So we wake up, put our feet on the floor, go and conquer the day like a warrior, like warriors. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right. No need to panic anymore. We got lots of support and an army of warriors by our side. We fight the good fight when we unite. We fight the good fight when we unite. Cause that's what a tribe does. We got your back so you can relax and focus on all the important stuff, like getting your business done. This is our tribe. We look out for each other. That's right, that's right. This is our tribe. We help each other grow in business and life. That's right, that's right.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Coffee Shop Show. I am here with the amazing Peter from Explore ProTech. My name is Sondra, and I am the host, producer, and all the things. Do we know what is going on in the day? So we are continuing our conversation about marketing. So Peter, how are you today?
Surprisingly well. There was a little bit of sunshine today. It's been miserable all week and managed to catch that few hours of afternoon sun and go grab a cup of coffee. So actually really well.
Awesome, awesome. It's always weird because you guys are opposite seasons. So we're in summer and you guys are in winter. So always have to remember that. Oh yeah, sunshine. So I'm in the amazing state of Florida. We have afternoon rain pretty much every day. So we're going into that part of the day, which is fine. But yeah, so welcome Hendrick to the show. So yeah, so we're continuing talking about marketing. We've been talking about that for almost a month now. We did have to miss last week due to being real. Being real. We both had stuff going on. So yeah, life be life, that's my words. But PR, that is what we're talking about today. So PR stands for public relations, and that's a very broad term because public relations can mean lots of things. A lot of people, when they think about PR, they think about commercials or, an agent or all these fancy ways of PR, which is true. Those are ways of PR. Most of us in our nice small businesses, we are not hiring agents and having public relations teams and all that amazingness that hopefully you will get to build up to. But you got to start somewhere. So public relations is basically, how does the public perceive you? How are you building a relationship with the public? So, and we're not just talking about your clients per se, we're talking about the public as a whole. So we're talking about the public. If you Googled my name or Googled my business, what would pop up? What would people be saying? What would people be saying on social media? Or anything like that. So definitely public relations, is all-encompassing. So just like any type of marketing, you need goals for public relations. PR, I'm gonna call it PR because I keep trying to say that I'm gonna trip over my words the rest of the show. So just like any type of marketing PR, you need to have goals and reasons for doing it. And know who you're wanting to reach, do your research, all those things that we've talked about, I don't know, 3-4 months ago now, about knowing your audience and knowing what they like. Are they reading blog posts? Are they reading articles? Are they consuming videos? Are they on TikTok? Are they on LinkedIn? Where is your audience at? Because even though your public relations is for the whole public, ideally you want to be targeting your target audience. So you want to make sure you're giving them the type of materials that they're going to use. You know, if they're scholarly, maybe you need to be in scholarly magazines. You know, if they're gamers, you need to be in gaming magazines and gaming boards and all those different types of things. So noting your audience is extremely important, and knowing where they're at. What are they consuming as far as news, information, and so on and so forth. And it's going to change. That's why I talk about review, review, review. So, and that's why you have goals. So PR needs goals just like everything else, and doing your research. So the biggest thing about research is not only being like, oh, I'm the best and you should just hire me type deal. This is about telling your story. Why did you get in business? What do you want to accomplish? Who are you helping? Who have you helped? Why? Why are you in business? I think people forget to say the why. You know, why might be that you're fulfilling a need. Why might be this worked for you, so you want to help other people with that. Why might be, I don't know, a million different things. Why might be you just need to make money. And that's a valid why. So this is one of those places where you can talk about your why. Why are you keep going? Why are you going through the throes of everything? And then definitely not only tell your story, but your brand story, but also about how people have found you and how you're helping them. And what's unique about you and why did they pick you? If you can get testimonials, that's great. Video testimonials are even better. Having them repost your content, you know, that's public relations. Having people mention you in their content or be like, hey, I don't know, somebody posts something about goals and you'd be like, hey, you know, Sondra's great at that, or hey, you know, Peter's great at networking. This is who you should go talk to, or stuff like that. So it's called mentions. So mentioning people on other people's posts is a great PR tactic. Another way for PR is hosting your own event or going to events and networking or having like a booth or a table at an event. I'm around colleges and they have job fairs and different things that you can go to and you can be set up at for networking purposes, or host your own event, of course, if that is your jam. Partnering with people. So maybe, you know, Peter does networking, but he wants to partner with, I don't know, well, his wife's an accountant. So he wants to partner with an accountant firm and help them network. So that's a partnership. A partnership can be very simple. It can be very complicated. You got to pick what that you want that to look like. I always say put things in writing. You're just going to do way better if things are in writing. I put everything in writing. It can drive some people nuts, but I'm like, if there's no gray area when it's in writing. It's kind of my stand on that part. And, you know, and there are influencers and things like that that you can, of course, align yourself with. And then, of course, being involved in community, not necessarily to pitch yourself, but to lend a hand or help an event or help sponsor something. Those are definitely great PR tactics of, you know, like, hey, I believe in this cause, so I'm going to sponsor it. It's in my business name, so that business name is showing up as a sponsor versus your personal name or so forth. And then, like we said, review, make sure you're measuring all the different ways that you're using PR, so you know what's working and what's not working. So if somebody's like, I always put, where did you find me on my intake form? Where did you find me? Yeah. Oh, Facebook. I'm like, cool, Facebook. Oh, LinkedIn. Oh, Peter sent me. Or, you know, ask people where they found you at. That's part of doing research. And most people, I've yet to have anybody be offended by that. Like, they're just like, okay, yeah, this is where I found you, because that gives you another clue of, okay, and then if they're not the ideal client, then you know where not to be advertising. If they're an ideal client, then you know which way you're going. So, and then one real quick more thing about PR is addressing negativity and preventing crisis proactively. Not everybody's going to love you. That's life. There's a million, billion, however many people are in this world. Your audience is this big out of that, and you're going to have another type of audience and be like, I had somebody tell me, you know, I was dumb in a box of rocks. You know, I'm like, okay, you're not my ideal client. Next, like, you have to shake that off. But also, if they're going out and publicly trashing you, then you have to make sure you do the best you can to deal with that. Some things you can't deal with, some things you can legally and depending on the platform deal with. But make sure you're reading. Don't go in and be like, oh, I seen like 5 reviews and 3 of them are bad and you didn't have a dang clue. It's on you to know what people are saying about you. Again, you can't prevent negativity, all you can do is be like, okay, that was one bad customer. I always tell my husband when he's reading reviews of products, I'm like, he always wants to read the bad ones. I'm like, but what were the 5,000 good ones and the 2 bad ones? Like the good outweigh the bad. Because I don't know, nobody's ever 100% happy. So you have to definitely take that into account. But you do your best to be like, hey, I'm sorry about that. Or if it's something you can fix, fix it and publicly fix it if you can. If not, sometimes you just got to roll with it and be like, okay, one bad review is a drop in the bucket and let's move on. So, Peter, come on in.
Oh, awesome. I think like most people, I think in forms of pictures. If you give me too much to read, I get lost. Give me a comic and I'm good. Um, I think in order for us to move forward, we have to understand that there's a difference between marketing and PR. There's a difference between the two. Marketing is more transactional. You are creating something to push a customer to buy a product based on the marketing that you create. Whereas PR is more relational. It's more the management side of how do you manage the relationships that are your customers. They don't only have to be your customers. They can be your suppliers. They can be your co-founders. They can be anything that is relational in the space. And for me, a journey would be taking somebody from a transaction, so marketing, transactional, relationship building, PR. So it's almost like if you keep somebody in the transactional space, you don't really care about who they are, you just want their money, and you're going to keep marketing at them, and you want them to buy the product. However, depending on your business, I mean, every business is different. So some of you would need a lot of PR, and some of you would need very little. It really just depends on your business. So that's pretty much up to you to decide to what level you need to do that. Um, and I mean, all of us watch movies. You see these movies where politicians do something really naughty, and then they have to quickly pick up the phone and phone the fixer. You know, that one person that knows how to handle the press, that one person that comes in and goes, I'm going to handle the press and I'm going to deal with the situation. And by the end of the situation, I'm going to make you look great. Well, that's managing PR. That's basically managing the perception of people when they look at your brand. So when somebody looks at your brand and they're like, oh no, I don't deal with those people because they're liars. Well, then the perception is that you are a liar, you know, and they won't do business with you. Whereas if they look at your brand and they're like, oh, I've done business with them before, they were great. I had a problem with them before, but they solved that problem so well. I felt so well taken care of. I still bought their product. Their product was great. I trust them. So you can turn a negative into a positive. That's PR. That's public relations. You're building relationships with your clients. So some of us need to look after our clients. Some of us have to really value our clients. And some of us don't really have to because we only need them to buy once. You know, so it really depends on the business that you're in, the space that you're in. It depends on your particular target audience. I don't, me personally, I love thinking in terms of just movies. You know, when you watch those movies, those professionals come in, they're like, you have a problem, and we're here to fix it. So there's got to be an element of that in your business. So I think a really good start is just understanding the difference between the two. And you should have both. You should have both. Don't think, oh, I'm doing a lot of PR, but I'm doing zero marketing. Or I'm doing a lot of marketing, but I'm doing zero PR. You've got to find that sweet spot, the sweet spot that works well balanced for your business. What my business needs might be very different to what your business needs. You've got to judge that for yourself. I cannot judge that for somebody unless I know exactly what they do. But in this particular situation, I have no clue what everybody does. So we'll just have to keep it quite general. But I mean, that's my take on PR. It's managing the relationships that you build, and please don't think of those relationships as just your clients. No, no. If you manage the relationships well with your suppliers, then your suppliers supply you on time. which create a very good space between you and your customer because you can deliver as they deliver. So, but if you have a bad relationship with them and they don't deliver on time, you can't deliver to your customer on time, then you end up trying to fix a bad situation, and that's not good. So PR, it's with your suppliers, it's with your workers, it's with your co-founders, it's with your customers, it controls how do people see your space. That in a nutshell.
No, and I like that, Peter. And a couple things you brought up is it's not just your client. It's also, yeah, who do you work with? What do you recommend? My noise is who am I recommending? If I recommended you and I didn't work with you and then something goes bad, I'm like, shoot, that's my bad because I referred you to them. So I quit doing that. If I don't work with you, highly not going to refer, or I will put that caveat. Here's a referral, but I never worked with them, or I met them in this space and this is what I've heard about them. It's not that they probably do or don't do bad work. I just don't. And my reputation, which is part of public relation, is I'm not going to refer people to people that I don't have a connection with or have worked with. So I want to make sure that I keep my reputation, integrity, all those things intact. So definitely want to make sure we do that. Also, how you show up in your communities and everything else is public relations. If you're in a community of 100 people or 5,000 people and you show up half nilly or not professional or anything in between, that hurts your reputation and your relationship in that community. And I can honestly say a lot of my business started out of one community, big time. And if I'd had a bad reputation in that community, I wouldn't have those clients. Like that would have not made sense. They've been like, okay, she couldn't show up and do what she said she was going to do, and so on and so forth. And life happens. I'm not saying that. It definitely does. Definitely does. But then you can be like, hey, my bad, I couldn't show up. Or if you're missing appointments all the time or something like that, that's part of your public relations. Are you showing up on time? Are you showing up professional? Or, maybe not to be professional, maybe you have to be silly, or like, are you showing up the way you should show up for your business? I guess I should say. Um, and same with building community around you. I'm very big on that. Which is one of the reasons I'm in this for ProTech is because I love the community and still love community 3 years later. It'll be 3 years this fall. So, so there's a reason I stuck around. And I've left communities because the community itself was not built or things changed and I didn't like the vibe anymore or whatever. It didn't align with me, which is a key area I put in when I do quarterly review is review your communities because people are like, oh, I'm part of 5,000 communities. I'm like, okay, but why? Like, what do you get? Like, what are you getting out? What are you getting out of it? But again, it's all relationship based. So you're building that relationship in the community, which can give you tons of referrals and help build your brand. So also the same with knowing what community you need to be in to build things. I wouldn't necessarily be in an e-commerce community. I don't sell e-commerce, like I'm in a service-based industry. So definitely knowing that. And same with Hendrick's not going to be a service-based. He's he's not going to be in a coaching community versus, a building or architect or things like that. So knowing where you should be is very important part of that. With PR, yes, you have to be able to fix it. And if you're not a good fixer, then you need to find somebody that can help you fix things if things go south or things go sideways or whatever. If that's not your jam and you can't handle that, then that's probably something you might want to hire or get a course on or be in a community that can help you fix that. Don't go trying to fix it if you don't know how or if it's going to make it worse. Like, don't be saying, I never worked with them or I worked with them, you got to handle those, especially when it's already out in the public. You have to handle those with care and delicacy. It's not just, oh, they're stupid and I don't like them. Like, okay, no. You definitely have to do your best to fix it. And if you're not a fixer, then yes, definitely have somebody help you. Know your strengths, know your weaknesses. And if you can't handle bad PR, it's going to come. It's part of business. Sorry, it's part of business. It's part of business. And I've definitely had to develop a thick skin in the last couple of years. I can honestly say that too. But if you can't handle it, then have somebody handle it for you. Sorry. Go ahead, Peter.
Well, once again, I'm going to take us back to the movies. We all know Gordon Ramsay, and we all know his cooking shows, his Hell Kitchen. We all know everybody has a certain perception on who he is, what he does. A lot of people will respect him and love him. I'm one of those. Absolutely love him. Watch all of his content. Anything that comes out, I'll watch it. Um, but there was one particular show that really stuck out for me. And I won't mention names or places or anything like that because it's not relevant. But there was a particular couple that really treated their staff badly, and he picked up on it very quickly, very quickly. And one of the things that the husband of the couple was doing was he was responding to negative PR negatively. So somebody would write, "Oh, your food is terrible. We went there and the food was cold." And then his response would be negative. "What would you know?" Or "What would you know about food? You're not a chef." Um, and that response to negative PR in a negative way created an even worse situation. And the more he responded, the more people responded, the more he responded back in a negative way. And it basically became a PR war on who was right and who was wrong. And their place was just labeled as shit. That was the perception of the general public. If you want, even the general public were even going there to see how bad it was. That's how the PR was handled. Whereas that very particular situation was actually an opportunity to look at what your customers are saying and go, "Oh, well, if more than one of my customers are saying this, there's got to be some element of I need to solve that." And then solve that problem and then go back to that customer and go, "You know what? Thank you so much for caring enough to actually write this because it really brought my attention to it. And now I can fix it. And thanks to you, how about you come back again and test to see whether I got it right?" And then appreciate their feedback instead of handling things negatively. Because if you're going to handle it negatively, rather shut up. Keep quiet. Don't respond. And this is really where it comes to show the difference between PR online, because there is a difference between PR online and PR in real life. One is face to face, person to person, speaking, direct contact. The other is just a random person who might be anonymous that's saying ugly things and you responding. Whereas the other is somebody's right in front of you. There is a situation. Maybe you've done something wrong or something that you've done didn't work as well as what it should have. And then it all becomes about how do you handle that situation in such a way that the person that's brought it to your attention gets relieved of the stress that they have trying to sort this problem out. So and I think this is where Hendrick would shine because he is a face-to-face. He's on site. They're doing work live on sites. They have people that oversee what's being done. He has to deliver, and then if something isn't delivered quite the right way, then he has to answer for that, and then create a plan as to how are we going to fix that, and then present that to an actual person to go, "This is how I'm going to relieve your stress, and this is how my company is going to fix your problem." Which then creates relief. "Oh my goodness me, thank you so much. It was a problem, but I see you have a plan, and now it's not a problem anymore." Once you can see the difference between online and in person, as a business owner, you have to be good at both of them. If you suck at online PR, get someone to do it for you because they're not going to make the mistakes that you make. Because I know personally, you build a business, it becomes your baby. And somebody comes along and they go, "Your baby's ugly." And your initial reaction is, "No, it's not. You're ugly." And it becomes a backwards and forwards war. And the perception of the general public that gets to read that, because it's not just seen between you and the person that's commenting, it's seen by whoever's online watching. So in this case with Gordon Ramsay, it was a lot of people watching because he's well known. face to face with somebody, it's between you and that person. You still need to handle that in such a way that that person knows that if they come back to you in the future, you are the one to solve their problems because even though you had a problem, you planned to fix it. You didn't hide it. You didn't try and go or blame somebody else or blame them or it's not a blame game thing. It's about how do I come up with a plan to take the problem that you have and fix it. So there's a balance between both of them. Figure out which one you need more. Obviously, in Hendrick's space, it's up close and personal. It's real. It's in your face. There's no messing around. You mess around, you lose contracts, big contracts. There's not small money. So I think Hendrick, your perspective on face to face would be super valuable.
Yeah, Hendra, I'd love to hear from you if you can.
No,
There we go.
good evening, everyone. Great topic as always. Yeah, definitely. I think the most important thing in be it face to face or the most important thing, and which you've already addressed, Peter, is know when and how to remove emotions from any situation you find yourselves in. It's June now, and it took me some time to get to a point where one of the management at one of the mining companies we work with changed. So they brought in new GMs, and so when things were not going my way, everyone expected that I was going to be loud about it. That, yeah, but you're not fair. Yeah, we've been here for this long. Why were there no issues before? And I just decided to relax and understand what the new management expects of us instead of just being in their face and being emotional. It's very difficult, and the reason it's difficult again is, like you mentioned, most of us, the business is our baby. So whenever someone comes and criticizes your baby, it's very difficult for you to take it as in like constructive criticism, for example. You'll always look to find ways to defend your baby. While sometimes it's very important to just sit back, try to understand what is expected of you from the partner or the client that you're working with at that moment, and then try to see things from their perspective. Unfortunately, in the field of business, you make some, you lose some, you win some, you lose some. So if you look at your situation as in, it's not always supposed to be win, 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 win for my team, but sometimes I have to sacrifice, then you get to maneuver any situation you find yourself in. So for me, that's the key takeaway from what you've said so far.
I love that. I love that, Hendrik. I love the fact that you stepped back and was like, okay, it's new management. It's not necessarily me. It's a change in their management. So I step back and go, okay, how can we work together? And maybe it doesn't work out, and that's fine. But at least you made an effort to be like, okay, this is how we're going to do that. So I think that's very important to note. That's not, that yeah, you have to do that step back. And like you said, it can be really hard to take the emotion out of business, and I that is not my best. I can get caught in that, and but I'm getting better at like checking myself and going, okay, I'm too emotional. I need to step back, or deleting a message because it wasn't the right way. And be like, okay, and then I've had clients go, are you having a bad day? I'm like, yeah, I am. Can you give me a minute to like goop? But I built that relationship to them to know that like, hey, this is not your norm. This is not how you act. Something's going on. Like, do you need the space or the time? So if I didn't have the relationship built, I could totally get fired and lose clients that way because I'm having a bad day. Because we all have bad days. being humans, and we're humans, and there are human beings running businesses. And I always tell people that, even when my clients if we have a disagreement or whatever, I'm like, we're both human. So even though it's a business, there's still human feelings in a business. And I am one of those people that always says there's going to be some emotion in business, whether you like it or not. And I have very opinionated clients that don't always agree with that. But, I'm like, okay, well, you know me, so you have to go with it. So, Peter, come on in.
Yeah, I think something that Hendrik mentioned that's actually really important is it's almost managing that relationship with zero emotions. If I have a supplier and the supplier's business sells, and now there is new management, the business continues, but I now no longer have a relationship with that supplier because none of those people know who I am. I'm just a customer that receives product from them. A way of dealing with that and perceptions and dealing with how they supply you and would be to go and then meet the new management or the new team of your supplier and build that relationship. Those are things that you have to manage. Those are things that you have to do in person. Don't just sit back and go, well, they used to supply me really well, but now I don't really get the stock that I require. Well, you haven't gone and managed the relationship. They don't know you. You're just like a line number. That's it. So managing those relationships are really important. When it comes to clients that expect a very particular service of you, and they might not get the service that they thought they were going to get. Having an understanding of what did they think they were going to get, and did we deliver that? Was their expectation not right, or was our delivery not correct? And figuring out what of that, and what can we do to fix that? Could well often lead to a new contract, because instead of going, well, you got what you paid for, and that's it. You think they're coming back to you? No. But if you're going to them and going, my understanding was this, let's sit down and figure out what your understanding was. Let's listen to your perspective and go, actually, you know what? You may have a point. Maybe let's look at this one particular area that seems to be the difference between what I thought and what you thought. If we could just fix this, then I think we would be on a level playing field. And their response might be, well, actually, yes, if we looked at just that, we would be exactly on the same page. You know what? No problem. I've got you. Let's look at this. It may cost you a little bit of extra time, but it may land you another contract, because all you're proving is you're proving to them that you have the ability to build relationship, solve their problems, that you can communicate, that you are there for the long run, not just a hit and run, but you are actually there to solve issues. And when they have problems again, or they need a new supplier, they're going to run straight back to you, because they know that even once you've delivered, you are still there to solve their problems. So relationships are totally underestimated, very underestimated. I think in this day and age, I think that's what police officers say. In this day and age, no, okay, but in this day and age of technology, I think people tend to go, technology will do it for us. ChatGPT will do it for us. Everything's going to do it for us. We're just going to type a little bit on the dotted line, and everything's just going to magically get built for us. Completely ignore the PR, completely ignore, and then just focus on the marketing and drive a product without actually even worrying about the perception of what do the public think about you? What do they feel when they see your brand? And if these are things that you don't know, well, then go back to the drawing board, because that's a hit and run business. You hit, you run, you start something else. I don't know about you guys, but if I build something, I want to build it to last, and I want to build a legacy, and I want to build a space that when I'm, dust in the ground, that it still exists, and that it's still doing exactly what it's supposed to do, how it's supposed to do it. that it's a future for future generations. It's a future for my children. So we've got to come back to looking at things more holistically. I think that's very important. And if the public perceives your space as a waste of time, good luck with building something that lasts.
For sure, Peter. And I do want to put one little caveat on it. You can definitely have conversations, and you can also definitely walk away and still have a decent relationship. And that's fine. You can be like, hey, we're not on the same page, or we can't get on the same page, or we're going in different directions, so this isn't going to work any longer. And end on a positive note. It doesn't have to be, you suck, I'm leaving you, goodbye. Like, you can make it so that it's a win-win, as in you both leave, and you can be like, hey, in the future, you can be okay, this person or this business is well for this type of thing. And you can still recommend them even if your relationship ended or whatever. I always tell my clients when things end or for whatever reason, I want the best for them, or what I want to know, let me know in the future how I can help you, or what your problem is, so I can see if I have any referrals for you, or how can I help you. Same with my coffee chats. I'll be like, I want to get to know you so I can see, how can I help you, or how can I send you somebody that might be able to help you, because I'm not the right fit for you, or I'm not the right fit for this situation. Um, there's That's still relationship building. You're building that relationship saying, hey, it's not me, but it's I'm not the person to help you, but here are some recommendations, or here are some other ways I can help you, or this isn't going to work. Let's check back in 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. Follow up. Follow up is part of relationship building. Are you following up with potential clients? Are you following up with past clients? Are you following up, period? And yes, you can use AI and systems to help with that. 100%, but don't be like, thank you, I'm following up with you. Like, put some human feelings into that. It's been 30 days. Okay, that's great. And um, I remember, it's been 30 days and we talked about this. Did you get this resolved or whatever? Make it a little bit more personal. I'm not against automation 100% to make everybody's life easier, but it's definitely, you can put a human component into all of that. So go ahead, Peter.
I deal with one particular supplier, but just for my household. If I want to order my meat for the month, I place one order. They're an incredible service. They arrive with their vehicle, it's refrigerated. They hand over perfectly well preserved, packaged bundles of steaks and T-bones, and we call it vors. We're in South Africa, we braai, we don't barbecue. And they deliver, and it's great. Their product is incredible. On one occasion, they delivered, and I opened up one packet and I smelt it, and I was like, something doesn't smell quite right. So I sent them an email and I was like, listen, you delivered of everything that I've got. This one packet just doesn't smell quite right. And their very next email back to me wasn't in regards to the problem that I was talking about. It was another promotion. They were like, have you bought your winter special yet? And I was like, no, I have not. I would like you to take a look at this very particular problem I have. And their response to that was, have you seen our 20% off on this special? And I was like, no, because I still want you to look at this very particular problem that I'm having. I don't expect anything from them for free. I just want them to come and take a look at the problem and solve the problem. Maybe just replace the one package. Problem solved. It's been 6 months. Been 6 months. And as great as their service is, now every time I open up a packet of theirs, I'm like, because I've had that problem before and it wasn't resolved. And it would have been as simple as somebody going, maybe where exactly are you located? Are you close by? Can we send our driver to pick it up? Or could you pop in with it to our store so we can solve your problem for you? It would have been so simple. I would have gotten in my car, they're just down the road. I would have gone there, I would have taken it to them, they would have smelt it and been like, oh, we don't know how that happened. Let's fix that problem for you. And everything would have been bright as rain. But 6 months, I just found another supplier. That's it. I just found another supplier. And I haven't had a problem yet, but I found a supplier that goes, we'll put you on WhatsApp. If you have a problem, just WhatsApp us. Um, yeah. I WhatsApp them going, you're supposed to be delivering on this particular date. What time do you think your driver will be available? Oh, the driver does that particular area early in the mornings. Will you be available from between 9 and 10 a.m.? Like, yes, I will be home. Perfect. The driver's name is this. He'll ring your doorbell. Great stuff. Great stuff. PR, it's just about building a relationship with your target audience. Although the previous supplier was great, I just had one bad incident, and it leaves a bad taste in your mouth when you try and communicate with them, and they're not interested in talking back to you. They just want to market to you. So that's the difference.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's also called being aware. Hey, we got a complaint. What are we going to do about it? Versus, oh, they're an automation, they're already in this automation sequence and they're going to sit there. And even if you still got the automations, at least acknowledge you didn't like the fact that they didn't acknowledge it. Like that's my first like red flag. Like they didn't even acknowledge, or um I don't even mind their auto responses of we'll get back to you in 48 hours because at least there's something like it comes up, pops up. I'm like, they're not my favorite responses, but at the same time, at least there's something that they have there to address it. And now if they don't answer me, like months at a time or whatever, then that's definitely a different perspective. But um yeah, so PR is not, and PR is not, I think we really got into like how to deal with negative PR and building relationships. But PR is basically how the public perceives you. So good and bad. So if things are going great, celebrate that and be like, hey, my customers, the last 5 customers have given me 5 stars because I've done X, Y, and Z, or, I fixed this issue because I addressed my customer service complaint, and so on and so forth. So, time flies when we're having fun, Peter, as always. So, um, so yeah, marketing and using PR was the topic today, and really just thinking about how the public perceives you. What can you do ahead of time to deal with negativity and positivity and relationships? And how are you measuring that? And how are you looking at your PR as part of a marketing piece? PR is a marketing piece. PR is not the end all. Like we said, PR is not the end all. Marketing comes in different forms. This is just one form. And that's why we put this as a separate topic, is that PR is one form of marketing. There's many, many ways. We've talked about that in the past. Go back and watch the previous shows about different types of marketing. But yeah, so in wrapping up, definitely drop your ideas or drop how you've done PR, good and bad, in the comments of the show. Please share our show and like our show, of course. We want to give a shout out to Miss Susan, who does our descriptions, our notes, puts our links. Our links will be in the chat if you want to talk to Peter, if you want to talk to me about anything, business, anything, even the show, topics you like, topics you didn't like. That's how we grow. I am not against people saying, hey, that didn't work, or we didn't understand, or, that didn't resonate with me, or whatever. And we've had people in our Explore ProTech that said, hey, I understood Peter's better than you, and vice versa. I understood yours better than Peter, which is why we have more than one person on the show. All that to say, definitely hit us up. We love coffee chats and get to know people, especially our audience. Hey, and then put in that little comment box. Where did you find us? YouTube show. Then we know you came from the YouTube show. We want to thank Somerville, who helps with everything in the back end, keeps Peter straight. Thank you, Somerville. And helps to explore ProTech community in many, many, many ways, for sure. And then my name is Sondra. I am the owner of Get It Done. I help you get things done with your life goals and your business goals by helping you create bite-sized action plans and holding you accountable. Peter, why don't you take us out?
Awesome. So we've come to that point in the show where it brings us to an end. So sad, but we have to go because we have lives. we have lives to get to. Ladies and gentlemen, may all your wildest entrepreneurs